but you can guarantee you're going to do well. Because doing well depends on you. It's not a competition with somebody per se. Winning is after you have done so well. If yours turns out to be number one, then you have won. I'll give you one example. So I think in 2025, either 2024 or 2025, in the Robotics World Championship, 2 senior teams, one from Ghana, one from Jordan.
Okay.
All of them full score, 100 points. Jordan beat Ghana with just the time. You cannot possibly say that you have 100 points and you have not done well simply because you didn't come first. So, and I'm alluded to that. The number one thing is learning. The number one thing is learning, or the performance. If the performance is that good, and it turns out that you are number one in terms of the score and the time, then you can become the winner. So I would want to encourage everybody to rather focus on excellent performance rather than sticking out and even winning with a mediocre score. Okay. I think, can I say thank you to people now?
Right, you can do that.
Thank you to our founder, Dr. Achide Trebioleno, Dr. Michael Wilson, who is the head of Microbot, is right there. I mean, he's there. Thank you to him. Dr. Ting Jesse, he likes to be called Starboy, Asabi Asariminta, Kojeni Nemboating, and then Leslie Jopa. These are the core people doing the great work with robotics here in Ghana. I want to thank everybody. And your cameraman, Michael, he is the reason why we've got this opportunity through Reverend, I think, Enoch Champong. Right. Thank you to all of you. And thank you for giving us a time.
Yes, you're welcome. It's fascinating, you know, learning from this robotics, and wish you the very best on this journey. But of course, there would be the need for more support for you on this from government, from all other persons, so that we can prepare these young innovators for the future, especially the global stage. Thank you very much, Dr. Yao Ukreku Yurenchi of the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation. You heard from Kwabna Akowa, who is with also with Microbots Academy, and Nambani also there, and the rest of the team behind the scenes. We're taking a break. While we come back, we'll get into the conversations about this morning's blackout or light out grid code statement. We'll hear from Benjamin Insia, and then we'll get to Vincent Ekwasifa also on the issues with Gold Board. Stay with us. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. We'll be back shortly.
The pulse of a nation, rising, unshaken. When the Black Stars take the world stage, we don't just play, we bring the storm. Fuel the dream. Support the Black Stars. Storm Energy Drink. Make your mark. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advert is FDA approved.
Mommy, good morning.
Good morning, my son. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mom. How about you?
I'm fine.
Joe, I just saw your mom doing her usual morning routine. Like, it was just 2 weeks she underwent a major colon surgery.
Bro, see, my mom is doing perfectly fine, and we're all excited about it. It was minimally invasive surgery, and the recovery has been very fast.
Minimally? Hey! No, wait. What do you mean by that?
So they offered my mom a laparoscopic colon surgery. Laparoscopic colon surgery, which we accepted. It turned out it was equally safe with a very fast recovery time, and the cost involved too was very, very reasonable. She was discharged 3 days after the surgery, and you can see her, she's on her feet again.
3 days?
Just 3 days, bro.
Mean Tuber Hospital, first Ghana colorectal center, aimed to serve a peculiar health need.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel Kids Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids, happy smile.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all, her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so surprised? My first time with her was special and irresistible. I'm talking about Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice can be found in selected supermarkets nationwide.
Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste. This advert is FDA approved.
This July, get ready for stories that will make your heart race. From love and passion to secrets and lies that can ruin everything. Catch the sizzling episodes of Sins and Roses at 4 p.m., Domenica Monteiro at 5 p.m., Be My Sunshine at 6 p.m., and Avenida Brazil at 7 p.m. Central African Time. Only on Novelas Plus, Channel 133 on DSTV.
So, I have 10 Ghana cedis in my pocket. Now think about it. Now, if 10 Ghana cedis could buy you anything at all, what would you buy? I can think about so many things. Are you ready? Watch this space.
Right, welcome back from the break. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. I am Desmond Okrekudan. So we're live on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana, also on DSTV channel 277. We're getting into a conversation about the power outage from this morning. Gridco has released a statement. I'm going to read that, and then we would speak to Benjamin Sia on this. So from the statement that Gridco put out, it says that system disturbance and power restoration updates. The Ghana Grid Company Limited Gridco wishes to inform the general public that at approximately 4:30 a.m. today, Thursday, 20th August 2026, the national power system experienced a major fault on the Akosombo Volta transmission line. The fault resulted in the automatic tripping of the Akosombo generating units and some thermal generating plants as part of the system's protection mechanisms to safeguard the integrity and stability of the national interconnected transmission system. This consequently resulted in the loss of power supply to some parts of the country. Immediately following the incident, Gridco engineers working in close coordination with other sector agencies or power sector agencies took steps to isolate the affected transmission line and commend the safe and systemic restoration of the power system. Power supply has already been restored to some affected areas, and restoration efforts are progressing steadily to ensure that supply is restored to all remaining affected customers as quickly and safely as possible. Gridco regrets the inconvenience caused by the temporary outage and assures the general public that all relevant technical teams have been fully mobilized and are working with urgency to achieve complete restoration of the power system. So that's the statement from Gridco that came in this morning regarding the power outage that we saw earlier dawn. So for me, at I guess the lights came back on around 9 a.m. thereabout. Let's speak to the Executive Director for the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin Insia. He joins us via phone. Thank you very much for your time here on Good Afternoon, Ghana. Now, should we be worried that a trip can do this and put several areas out of light, out of power?
Yes, we should be worried, especially when it becomes consistent. We should be worried, especially when there's contradictory information coming from power system managers and also policy makers. We should be worried when actually we've not been communicated to with respect to the actual cause of these periodic challenges. And I think that it is good for the ministry and GridCo to give us more information on actual happenings to build trust and confidence by the Ghanaian people in their ability to resolve this problem once and for all.
You talk about contradictory reasons given. What do you mean by that?
So when you read the GridCo statement, they mentioned this particular disturbance or cascading effects being caused by a Akosombo Volta transmission line.
Yes.
The statement didn't have any mention of control room. Later, we heard the minister when he was commissioning the new structure of PURC mentioned that the problem came from the control room because the resolution of that particular room when that disturbance happened sometime this year was temporal. And for that matter, we're just managing it. So if minister mentions control room and GridCo mentions transmission line, now it creates a lot of problem. So which should the Ghanaian take? Or both are the reasons why we are in this, because resolving a transmission line issue is different from addressing a control room issue. You'll be able to address the control room issue. However, if it is a transmission line and you are not able to address the overloading nature of our network, it means that there's likely going to be another challenge faced in the short term. So I think that information flow must be consistent from policymakers and power system managers. If that information flow is consistent, unambiguous, very clear, there's synergy, it builds trust among Ghanaians.
Right. You don't believe that these are just maybe isolated incidents, or you believe they are deeper structural problems?
I think the structure, we've always known that GridCo for some time now needs capitalization. GridCo for some time now needs some injection of capital resources to improve on their capital expenditure, because most of their system or network or lines are aging lines. Most of their systems are incapacitated to be able to supply the needed power in some parts of the country, especially the Akosombo Volta line, which is built in 1980s, which is about 69 kV. So urbanization is setting in, population is increasing, incomes are increasing, and for that matter, the demand for power consumption is also increasing, yet the system line remains the same for the past 14 years. So we know the challenge. Structurally, these companies are having constraints with respect to financial resources, especially capital resources, to improve their infrastructure. And that is why I think that our communication, especially the ministry's communication, must be very concise, precise, and direct, telling Ghanaians what the challenges are so that Ghanaians embrace or brace themselves for future occurrences that may happen. Because as he mentioned, when you listen to the minister, if you are even going to resolve this particular challenge and getting us a very sustainable and permanent solution is likely going to take a month, which means that this temporal challenge may have a trip or may cause a disturbance in the coming weeks or so. So when information flow comes clear and anything happens, we know the problem already. But when you shield information, hide information, and it happens and people begin to speculate, I think that it doesn't build trust and confidence in the ministry.
This tells us about the health of our national grid, that this is the second major blackout we've seen in a matter of, what, a month. We're not doing good. What sort of investment do you believe is needed to be able to solve this issue from where you sit?
So if the issue is the issue is because of a system failure or transmission system failure, I think if you take the multi-year tariff review order and capital expenditure of Gridco, we are talking between 4 billion to about 10 billion in the next 5 years to resolve most of these critical infrastructure challenges in the transmission network. So that is what Gridco needs. Now, beyond Gridco is also ECG, also, or the DISCOs, trying to also mobilize huge amounts of resources to also improve on their distribution network with other bulk supply points or other transformers needed to also feed into households across their operational zones. NETCO also needs huge resources. So I think the power sector for now needs about $4 billion. That is from the perspective of the policy, from the perspective of the ministry. Okay. They need about $4 billion in the short term. By the long term, I think they are likely going to need almost $15 billion to be able to resolve their challenges.
And that includes making sure we have enough spare transformers to hold us down in case of a trip, as is put in this case?
Yes, that is because if you, in city terms, Gridco, for example, needs between 4 to 10 billion Ghana cedis, and the distributors also need almost about 2 billion Ghana cedis. IPPs also need their own generation to create a redundancy or to create a reserve margin that will ensure that at any time any of these power plants trip or face specific challenges, at least our redundant power will be able to feed into the national grid to continuously supply us reliable power. So, in all, I think we are talking about 4 to almost $10 billion needed in the entire system to improve infrastructure and ensure that we build a redundancy that will always make sure that we're able to get reliable supply of power to the household and the family.
From the explanation you've gotten from Gridco and the things that you've mentioned to us this afternoon, then it means we are very vulnerable, that power can go off due to what is termed as a single transmission line failure.
Yes, and we are likely going to experience some of these periodic challenges because of the challenge in terms of the infrastructure of these power system operators and managers. Until we resolve this infrastructure challenge, I think that the Volta, for example, Volta and OT will continue to experience outages either caused by Gridco's inability to supply or evacuate the power needed by these consumers or end users, or maybe the distributor also inability to also distribute power due to inadequate infrastructure or transformers to carry the load to the end user. So I think that periodically we may be stable, but that also comes at a challenge, especially in the medium term, if you are not able to revitalize the power system.
Okay. Well, I know you mentioned here that the communication should be clear enough. Gridco says that they'll provide updates, and that's what lots of people were even looking forward to, especially with the very first incident that happened, of proper details of what happened with that situation. Do you believe we'll be getting that with this situation that has also happened?
I think if they want to build trust, reduce misconception, it is incumbent on them to periodically release updates on what is happening there, so that Ghanaians don't create their own conceptions or misconceptions that would cause certain panic in the system. And I think that at any point in time, GRICO themselves need the trust of Ghanaians to be able to effectively address the challenges we're facing. And at any point in time, they need also the trust of Ghanaians to be able to mobilize the resources they need, especially the capital resources they need to resolve some of these challenges. But if there's that dispute, there's that mistrust, at any point in time, GRICO comes to Ghana to say, we need these resources, they are likely not going to get it. And that is also likely going to put a lot of pressure on them in terms of resolving this challenge.
Yes, and for the minister and the government, they've been trying their best to make sure that Ghanaians do not have the fear that we will return to a period where we were going back to what is termed as doomsday in this situation. With what is happening and has been happening over the period, especially for this year in particular, do you foresee, are we likely to get into serious trouble?
So serious trouble is relative, and I've always maintained that the definition of doomsday has not been properly conceptualized, and even if conceptualized, there's difference in opinion in its conceptual definition. Because I believe that any time my light goes out, is the doomsday. Others believe that consistent, frequent, and duration must be factored in the definition of doomsday. So we have always been in doomsday, especially from the local perspective. But in terms of generational perspective, we are likely not going to be in doomsday for some time now, because we have enough more than our reserve margin. We will only be in doomsday when we are not able to procure the necessary fuel to feed into our thermal plant, or there's likely a disaster that is likely going to cause a cascading effect and trip of our Kosovo's ability to generate. Until then, I think that generation, we are always safe. But for periodic doomsday caused by local hitches, we are likely going to face them. And also periodic doomsday caused by GRICO's inability to carry the load or evacuate the load, we are also likely going to face these doomsdays.
Now, the minister mentions that the ongoing reforms has resulted in the clearance of some $1.47 billion debt, that is legacy debt as he put it, and generated significant savings for the country, that they've saved approximately $500 million by shifting power generation from expensive liquid fuels to natural gas. Is that right?
It is. It is, because these debts are not, or clearing these debts have always been central government policy in addressing some of the financial issues of the sector. And I think if we take a critical look at the energy sector reform energy sector recovery program report, it states that if none of the government, the then government didn't pay a penny to the IPPs or power sector service providers, that would have accumulated to about 12 billion by 2023. So what it meant is that the previous government also serviced some of these debts. So if the current government is also paying certain obligations or servicing certain obligations to power service providers, I think that that is nothing new. The hope is that we should not accumulate more debts, so that by 2030, as we've all proposed, we're able to deliver this particular target in terms of clearing all these legacy debts or historical debts, so that it gives the power sector a new window of opportunity to invest in itself, upgrade its infrastructure to ensure that there's a sustainable supply of power. And I think that is critical after 2030.
Well, does that mean that the sector is financially sustainable, or, after that has been cleared, we'll still have some debts in this new government that would be accrued?
If we don't accumulate current debt, I think that we should be safe by 2030 if we're able to offset all these obligations to the IPPs or the power sector service providers. However, if by mistake of government and we begin to, or by mistake of ECG, and we are not able to accumulate, or we are not able to mobilize a lot of revenue from end users and increase any debt, or we begin to accumulate recurrent debt, it means that by 2030 we shall continue to pay debt to power sector service providers. But if we are able to pay these or service these obligations and do not incur additional debt, I think that by 2030 we should be safe, and any money mobilized or any income revenue mobilized from petroleum sector through energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy will now be used to recapitalize the sector. And that is what we may be using to inject some capital expenditure in terms of upgrading GridCo, upgrading ECG, and maybe supporting ECD to defray some of its liabilities, which are also huge, putting the sector in a serious financial distress.
Right, and then that's what the minister talks about, the use of natural gas. Now, what are the dynamics of that also?
Yes, so I think the government policy is to use gas to power electricity, and I think that is why they want to build 1,200 megawatts of thermal infrastructure. But the challenge we are likely going to face in future is that until maybe we expand gas resources or produce more gas, we are likely going to have a deficit of gas to power our thermal infrastructure. And that deficit may force us to rely on liquid fuel, compounding the financial situation of the sector. And when that continues, it also means that our electricity is likely not going to be affordable. And if it's not affordable, it also means our households and then firms may not be that competitive and may also not be that in terms of effective in becoming very productive and also competing with their peers across Africa and across the globe. So I think that thermal is necessary. We need it because we have the resources and the policies that we want to use our natural resources to feed into our thermal. But there's also the potential that if we are not able to expand our natural resources or the gas resource, we are likely going to have a shortfall in gas supply to the thermal infrastructure, and that is also going to compound the debt situation of the sector.
Right, and for the ordinary Ghanaian, I mean, for you're a technical person. We're talking about all the things from the energy sector. So if the minister says they're saving about $500 million, for the ordinary Ghanaian, how do we see that translating in our lives? Are we going to see low electricity tariffs?
So after 2030, we are likely going to see low electricity tariffs because by then we've paid some of these debts. But low electricity tariff also depends on a lot of factors. It depends on the power purchase cost. I think that we pay one of the highest power purchase costs in Africa, and it's good that CSOs and the ministry have decided to engage at multiple times to renegotiate some of these power purchase costs. I think they are high, and that is why our indicative tariff is also high. So we need to address that particular concern. We also need to critically look at our energy mix because thermal is quite expensive compared to hydro. Because thermal, some are even charging as high as almost 14 cents per kilowatt hour, but hydro is doing around 6 cents per kilowatt hour. So because thermal is quite expensive, we need additional mix that is quite cheaper, and we brought in renewable with the new renewable, the solar. And if you look at it, because of the feed-in tariffs, even our solar is also quite expensive. Some of the solar plants are charging as high as 20 cents per kilowatt hour. So solar is expensive, thermal is expensive, hydro is cheaper. But what we need additional cheaper energy mix or additional cheaper supply, and the cheaper supply is atomic or nuclear energy. And these days, nuclear small reactors are becoming the norm across the world. I think that we must begin to think of getting nuclear. The argument is that its short-term cost is quite high. We could also build a feed-in tariff for it, but beyond certain years, especially after 20 years onwards, nuclear will be very cheap to support our industrial goods. So I think that we need nuclear also in our energy mix, and it is in our energy transition framework. Unfortunately, politicians don't want to go nuclear for whatever reasons we don't know. But the time has come for us to also add nuclear in our energy mix because it's cheaper in future, even though the initial cost is quite high.
Okay, right. We're wrapping up. Just a final question, still on the minister's case of reforms in the energy sector. Any other thing that you really want changed, reformed in the sector?
I think that what is happening, Yakosombo should also inform us to conduct a system audit. We need to audit our system, know where the challenges are, and then inform Ghanaians of probable outages due to some of these challenges, so Ghanaians prepare at all times, knowing that we are likely going to go into doing so. And aside that, I think that if we're able to do this audit, we need to allocate resources within certain milestones to address these challenges, and that informs our planning. I think one thing we've also done well in the power system is appropriate planning or effective planning. If you're also able to do effective planning at any time, we are able to know our demand and also know the infrastructure that must evacuate power to this demand. And then planning also is key when you're able to allocate resources to meet the demands of your plan. So I think that planning is very critical. We must prioritize planning the power system, and if you're able to prioritize, most of these challenges will be resolved.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Good afternoon, Ghana. Benjamin is here there, giving us some very, very important insights onto the incidents that happened this dawn and other conversations in the energy sector regarding reforms in the sector. Thank you so much for joining us on that. So, as you know, tomorrow is the big day for us here at Ignite Media, Metro TV, Original TV, Original 91.9 FM, and also Metro Digital. We're bringing to you the Clean Conference 2026. We're geared up and we are ready for it tomorrow. But let's play this story from Jamestown. Very, very, very serious issues with sanitation in the area. My colleague Ekuya Abebio found a story. We'll take that. And when we come back, Nana Kwetia joins me. So we take a look at the speakers for tomorrow, who is coming around for tomorrow's program.
It's about 6 a.m. and this is the time of the day most people wake up, take their bath and use the washroom before starting their daily activities. But in this part of the nation's capital, finding a clean and hygienic place of convenience is often a challenge.
For some, it is simply a beach. For others, it is a place to work. And for some residents, the shoreline has become a place to relieve themselves. This is Jamestown, one of Accra's historic coastal communities. Behind its vibrant streets and rich history is a sanitation challenge that raises a much bigger question. How far has Ghana come in its journey towards universal access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene?
Yeah, we have a toilet for here. It's a dirty toilet. If you enter the toilet, it's not a nice toilet. If you enter the toilet, you see plenty dirty things. The toilet paper is not dirty. Yeah, the toilet is not good for years. As you want to the AMA come and see the toilet, they do something nice for these people we are here. You know? But if you see the government want to know the toilet is here, it's a dirty. If you enter inside, you see water from water. Before you enter inside, you see somebody go shit. You forget the toilet. You shit for the no shit for the toilet. You shit for this different place. But it's no nice for wears. Guys, they want to the government come and help this toilet.
From here where I stand, you are moving right to the way we call it seashore. Around the area is called Kofuri. Down there. Many people they go toilet. Even when you go there, plastic. Many plastic in the boiler. It's not down there over right now. When you move to there, my brother can go and show you there. It won't be nice. Many people go for AMA to report. They didn't Yes, many people enter there. So today I am here. I want to say something. Whether you can help us about this thing, because all you see they do too much.
For residents who depend on public toilet facilities, the question is not whether sanitation matters. It is how accessible and affordable these facilities are.
In a day, about how many people visit this facility?
There are many, I can't count. There are many, but...
Would they be up to 50 in a day?
Oh, more than 50, there are many. That's why I said I can't count. Some of them don't have it. But nowadays, some of them just they just make some in their homes. Yeah. But those who just come here, they are the people like they don't have it in their houses.
Right, so that's the situation in Jamestown, and these are the reasons why we're having this Clean Conference 2026 to see how how best we can get rid of our society of the filth. So looking at the SDG goals. Nana Kwesi is here with me. Kwesi. So we have a day.
Yeah,
a day more. It's been what's the word to use?
Well, it's been back and forth. Let's put it that way, so that at least we can all be free of any words that we might use that might go against us.
Of course, putting up such a massive event is very tiring.
Yeah,
and all of the things that happen with it. But we're ready for tomorrow at the city conference, or for conferences like this. People come to hear those who speak, the caliber of people who are coming around. For now, we know that the chief of staff, Dr. Julius Deborah, we've been talking about it. The government chair is also coming through. Which other speakers do we have?
All right, so let me start with some of the goodwill messages that we might get on the day. We have Ambassador Frederick Landshoft from the German embassy. He will be also speaking. We have a Reverend Enoch Na Thompson, who happens to be the chairman for the Christian Council of Ghana. Sheikh Ameyao Shaibu, spokesperson for National Chief Imam. Amma A. Ofori Entry, Executive Secretary, Environmental Service Providers Association. Diana T. Nihu, Executive Secretary, Contract Cleaners Association of Ghana. Jacqueline Afu, Managing Director, Appointed Time. Printing Medical is also speaking on the day, and I'm sure that his goodwill message will send a lot of waves towards the youth, so that we can continue to keep our environment clean and then protect it also. We have Greater Accra Regional Minister, who will be represented by Honorable Christian Tete Baja, MCE for Okankwe North. And then when it comes to the presentations for tomorrow, we're going to be starting with Daryl Bonsu, Deputy Director for Rocha, Ghana. And the local government, we would also have them representing Dr. Rebecca Yandam, Research, Innovation and Development Manager, Zoomlion Ghana Limited, would also be part of that very panel. We'll also have someone coming from the UN, that's a rep, and then Dr. Gameli Kere Ribe would also be coming, who happens to be the Executive Secretary for Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization. We also have Atokwamena Senaya, Vice President, Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation. And when we move to the second presentation for tomorrow, Dr. Henry Kokofu, former Chief Executive Officer, Environmental Protection Authority, that's part-time lecturer, Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies, that is IESS, University of Ghana, would also be part of that conversation. And then Hinba Kwejo Safo, founder and leader for Bar Store Boys. We also have Yao Ata Ahin, Wash Technical Specialist, World Vision Ghana. John Bosco Avon, President, Bola Taxi and Tricycle Association. Ibrahim Musa, Head of Strategy, Policy and Campaign, Water Aid Ghana. So this would be the two panels that we'll be having tomorrow, aside from our guest of honor and then also the opening address, which will be done by our General Manager, Mr. Von Bakutstein. And I know that you're also running one of the panel sessions.
We'll be there. We'll be there to be part of it. But for the events, we also understand there's an exhibition as part of it. And so it's going to be grand. Fact. That's how we do it here. And so do want to join us, as he's mentioned, all these amazing people who are coming in tomorrow to be part of the Clean Conference. And it will be live on Metro TV, Original 91.9 FM, and across our social media platforms on YouTube, on DSTV channel 277. We will bring all of that to you. And so, because I'm sure for now, finishing touches, just putting everything together. And then tomorrow will be that big day for all of us.
Yeah, we're already on the ground. I mean, a lot of us are already there, making sure that we can start, building how we would want tomorrow to look like. So a lot of our team are already there. From here, I'm sure that you and I were definitely going to go there.
Yeah, we'll be at the venue. And this is to just ask you all to come around and be part of this all-important conversation on sanitation. City Conference Hall, it is 9 a.m.
To 3 p.m., yeah.
Yeah, we're starting at 9 a.m. And then with all of these guests that we have. So join us on the... Because after this program, what really do you want to see from the conference? Want people to come in and listen? And what do you want people to come and take from this conference?
Well, I mean, yesterday I was having a conversation on sports where I was saying that if you look at this earth that we all find ourselves in as human beings, we all came to meet it. Mm-hmm. However, one of the key things that we have to do to sustain our livelihood over here, not just even us, but those that would come after us, is to maintain it, preserve it, which our forefathers used to do. If you look at what is happening today in Ghana, floods everywhere, we're cutting trees anyhow, we're throwing rubbish everywhere, something that's not even so good to do. So this Clean Conference would actually give you the opportunity to find strategies in which you can also see how best you can treat waste, how best you can also clean your environment even within where you stay, how you can clean it and how you can keep it clean. And if you look at our water bodies, water is life. Galamsey has destroyed every part of our water bodies today in Ghana. And recently, just some few days ago, we hear that they are moving towards the northern part of Ghana, which is not a good idea. Yeah. So, I mean, our water bodies are really important. These are things that when they take you through tomorrow, you're going to know how you're going to also take care of our water bodies. Revere them so that, we can continue the life that we have over here successfully, and we're not going to be getting sick or anyhow. Today, young people are dying, and where is it coming from? From the food we are eating, from the water we are drinking,
from
and
our environment and all that, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, it's free. Meet us tomorrow at the City Conference Hall of the University of Ghana for the Clean Conference 2026. Kusi, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming. That's all wrapping up the show for today. On a Good Afternoon Ghana, log on to metrotvonline.com for more stories, and across our social media platforms. Do follow us, and of course follow me. Also, that's the Starboy and all platforms. We're back at 7 p.m. with News Night. Have a good afternoon.
Metro TV, Original FM and Metro Digital, under the auspices of the Office of the Chief of Staff, proudly present the Clean Conference 2026. Theme: Assessing Ghana's progress towards UN SDGs Agenda 2030. SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. SDG 7, Clean Energy. And SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Friday, 21st August 2026, 9 a.m. at the City Conference Hall, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra. With just 4 years to achieve the UN SDGs 2030, how far